So let's just construct a sketch here. So let's say this is my graph, something like this, and then let's say we calibrate this. So the very first thing I want to do is I want to use the first information here. So the first information I have here is the shape of the graph. So this is what I'm expecting this shape. That's the first thing I know. And the next thing I want to check is what is the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is x equals -3. That's the axis of symmetry. So x equals -3. So if this is point 0, this is -1, -2. So let's assume -3 is here. So x equals -3 is a straight line. So this straight line here. So this is x equals -3. So now I've gotten my axis of symmetry. The next information I want to use is the vertex, so which is here. So my vertex has a coordinate of -3, 0. That is when x is -3, f of x is 0. So when x is -3, f of x is 0. So which is this point here, the point here. That's what I have. But it doesn't stop there. I also need the x-intercept. The x-intercept is -3, 0, which is also the same point here. And then the y-intercept, that is where the graph crosses the y-axis. You've been told is 0, 9. That is when x is 0, y is 9. So let's assume here is 9. So the graph passes here. So now I have a knowledge of how the graph is. So let's now construct the graph. This is the y-intercept, this is the vertex, and then this is the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry divides the graph into two, and then I know that this is the shape of the graph. So I'm expecting something like this. Now since this is supposed to split the graph into 2 equal halves, now from here to here, that is from here to here, is 3. That's from here to here, 0, -3, -3. So since the axis of symmetry splits the graph into 2 equal halves, then we should also have the same distance here. So if here is -3, then this point here is going to correspond to -6. So in other words, the graph is supposed to pass through this point here. So when x is -6, f of x is 9. So this is -6, -6, 9. So the graph must also pass through this, and then it goes up, it goes in that direction. So that is the shape, or that is the graph of the function x squared plus 6x plus 9. Yep. So let's go ahead and find the domain and the range of the function. Now you will recall that the domain of a function, we said the domain of a function, the domain is the width. It's the same thing as the width of the function. That is how wide is the function. Now looking at the way the function goes, from this side you can see it goes from, this is -infinity, it keeps on going in this direction, the left hand side, and then if you look at the right hand side too, it keeps on going in the right hand side. So it goes from -infinity to infinity. So the domain of the function is the set of all real numbers, that is this, or you just simply write this, -infinity to infinity. And then we also said that the range of the function is the height of the function. Now looking at this, this is the base of the function, that is this area here. That is the base of the function, that's from here to here, and then it keeps on going up. You can see it keeps on going. So it starts from 0 straight down to positive infinity. So the height of the function is 0 to infinity. So this is your range, and then that's the domain. Now we are told to determine where the function is increasing and where it is decreasing. Now you recall that whenever a function is increasing, it follows this direction here. This is for increasing, and when a function is decreasing, it follows the other direction, that is, it follows this direction here. This is for decreasing. And again, all the things we are seeing here has been explained in previous videos, so if you still do not have a very clear picture of what has been explained in this video, then I'll strongly advise you watch some of the previous videos that speaks on a function increasing and decreasing, and some examples that actually delineated how most of all these principles are being utilized. Okay, so decreasing and increasing. So we now know the shape of the graph. Now looking at this shape of the graph here, the graph follows this orientation. You can see it follows this orientation from this point here, from -3 to infinity. That's from -3 to positive infinity. And then at the other side of the graph, which is this side here, you see that the graph follows this orientation here. So it means that from -3 to negative infinity, that is from negative infinity to -3, with this inclusive, the graph is decreasing. So now we know where the graph is increasing and where the graph is decreasing. So let's just write that. So it's increasing for -3 infinity, while it is decreasing for the other side there, that is from negative infinity to -3. And then that completes the whole problem that is being asked for this section of quadratic functions. Thank you for watching.